welcome to another edition of our high school football game of the week. Bill is here with us once again. Before we do that, boy, did we have a barn burner on Friday.
That's right, man. What a game that was. That's definitely the game of the year so far. Salem's 48-44 win over Lynn Classical. Classical throws for over 400 yards. They don't win the game. It's amazing. But Salem comes up with a big play right at the end and wins it. Both teams missed some extra point attempts or 2-point conversions, if you will, in the game that probably were costly. But a game that could have gone either way. A great one to win, but a very tough one to lose, huh?
Yeah, definitely. And I counted to only 2 punts. There was only 2 punts in that game. So if you like offense, that was the game to be at. Good for Salem to boost their resume. And, they're still, I think, a #1 spot for in their respective division. And then Classical got some work to do to close out the season to try to get in there. So it's fun times as we get closer to the end of the regular season. All right, games of the week. I got a couple in mind, but we'll start. You already know which one we're going to talk about.
Well, I suppose you really can't not pick this one. The St. John's Prep game at home Saturday afternoon against CM. Great Catholic Conference rival, super teams. CM, interestingly enough, in Division II, the Prep in Division I. They have expectations of making it to the Super Bowl every year, I think. It's a big game. I don't know how the Prep stands in this one, though. I think they need to play their best game of the year to win this game. Injuries, I don't know if they'll play a factor at all. But, I saw Prep once against St. John's of Shrewsbury. I'm very impressed with them defensively. Quarterback Deacon Robillard has done the job for them this year very well. They got some great running backs in Cam LaGrassa and Jimmy Nardone. Also Nardone on the defensive side and whatever. But they've got a great team, and the question is, though, they've really got to play their best game. I think they still have their best games ahead of them moving forward and in through the playoffs. That's my take on the Prep. We talk to the coach every week, and I know he's confident, but he knows this is going to be a tough matchup for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I've gone to 2 or 3 of their games, and I think he always mentions this is that point of the season where he wants them to play their best football. It's starting to get a little bit colder out now. The temperatures are dropping, and he feels like they've been working towards molding into a complete team that he usually puts out there. As for Catholic Memorial side, this team, boy, talk about a team that's been just having guys step up week in and week out. They went to Florida and they lost a few players to injuries. They've got injuries all over the place, but they've just it's next man up, and they've had guys step up. LaShawn Sharp, the junior running back, he came up big against Xaverian with big runs in the fourth quarter when they were down. Obviously, the game-winning touchdown pass. He had quarterback Peter Bork, young sophomore. He's been showing promise. I forgot who I talked to, but that game was like a grow-up game for him against Xaverian. That was that showed the maturity of him as a sophomore. And then they got receivers. They have receivers. They got a lot of receivers. They got a couple sophomore receivers that are really good, and then there's some other receivers as well. So they lost some guys, graduation, injuries, but they're still a loaded roster, and they're still a threat offensively as well.
Yeah, they just beat Xaverian 41-38, but they had injuries in that game, so that's something to keep in mind. Yeah.
Yes, I was at that game. That was a very competitive game. It was really competitive, and it just showed their grit and maturity for them to go down the field. It was like 50 seconds left. They went 80 yards in 50 seconds for that one, and the other game I saw of them was against St. Francis. Well, no, the season opener, and then another game against St. Francis, and it just looked like that running attack and those receivers. They just had guys stepping up, so it's gonna be. The Prep has it. Both teams have their hands cut out because it's like 2 different styles, and it's 2 effective styles.
Yeah, the other factor, I don't know. I know there's rain in the forecast. I know a day ago there was going to be a lot of rain in the forecast for Saturday. I think they've backed off that a little bit, but it could be damp. That's something that teams have to prepare for or be aware of, as I'm sure they already do. But whether that plays a factor, it doesn't seem like it would matter, but it could be a factor at some point.
Yeah, definitely. All right, the other game this week is happening Thursday night in Haverhill. Whittier Tech hosting Kip Academy. This one is for the conference. Both teams coming in this game 5-1. Kip with a hard-fought victory over Greater Lowell on this past Saturday, and I've sang the praise of the Kip Panthers all season, and this team, a lot different from last year's team, but they are very tough, and they could win. They could win in any different style.
Yeah, no, you've seen them. I haven't. I loved last year's Kip team. I thought it was a great team. A lot of great athletes on that team. But I'll take your word for it on that. But you're right. That's a big conference game for them. And then they moved it to Thursday, huh? Right. So
Yeah,
there you go.
Thursday, I think 5:30. It's going to be an early one. So for those folks taking that drive, that's going to be a big one. And I don't know if you have this one. The last one I have is Winthrop and Salem.
Yes. I'm going to be at that game.
Okay.
I agree with you. I think that's a very good game, tough game. I like Winthrop this year. I mean, I think they're a solid defensive team. I think some teams have shut them down offensively at times. So they've got to play. I think they've got to play lights out defense. Does Winthrop to win against Salem? Of course, you and I both saw Salem last week. They're pretty impressive, but sometimes coming off a big win, sometimes the next time out is a challenge. So I mean, I'm sure they're very aware of that. They all you always are, but playing in Winthrop, it's a tough place. They haven't won in Winthrop. I mean, they haven't had a great record against Winthrop the last several years, last decade actually, I think. But that's been the way it was with Classical too, last weekend. So. Yeah, I think that'll be a great game. I'll add one more to it for you, and that's another Thursday night game. Bishop Feehan playing at Bishop Fenwick.
Okay.
Both teams 5-1 on the year. This Feehan team is the one that knocked out Peabody last year, but I understand it's a totally different team than the one a year ago. Different offense, all that stuff, but they're tough. I hear they're very tough.
Yeah.
And so that'll be, if Fenwick gets out with a win on Thursday night at home, that'll be a big win for them. The same deal with Prep we were talking about earlier. If they can do that on Thursday night, on Saturday afternoon rather, at the Prep, that would be a huge win for them too.
Yeah, definitely. And one last one on the Salem Winthrop one. Winthrop the week before they played Peabody. They gave Peabody all they could handle. Peabody won that game, but Winthrop gave Peabody all they could handle.
I was at that game, and that's like the third game I think of Winthrop I've seen this year. And I think holding Peabody, it was close throughout that game, and holding Peabody to the 25 points in that game, I think it was 25, I believe it was, but that was a pretty good showing. Peabody didn't run all over the place with them on that game that was Thursday night actually, a week ago, Thursday. Yeah, so, and that's what I'm talking about. This Winthrop defense is good, and yet, and their line seems to be pretty good as well. So, and they'll be at home, and they'll want to get back on the winning side of things after the loss last week to Peabody.
Yeah, I think I'll be at that one too. I think I'm gonna go to that one. It sounds like. Yeah, I think I'll make that drive to Winthrop. It sounds like a intriguing matchup that I need to check out.
Winthrop, the one in Winthrop you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It should be good.
Well, alrighty. Thank you as always. Always great talking.
All right, great to see you.
Yeah, we gotta set something up before the postseason. Me, you, and Joey. Before the postseason start, get you guys in the studio.
Well, we'll be there. No problem. That sounds good.
Yeah, definitely, man. All righty. That is Bill. You guys have
Take care.
All right, have a good one. Yep.